Testing, testing.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Cool. Let's go.
Whew. What a week it's been.
Truly. I'm Alex.
And I'm Emily, and welcome to What a Week.
You want it, we got it. We're bringing you the top news and pop culture stories you need to be in the know.
Let's dive right in. So we're going to start with internet culture.
Renegade.
Internet culture.
Okay, so Charli and Dixie D'Amelio are in some hot water. And I think I said her name right. Is it Charli or Carly?
Oh, Charli.
Charli, okay.
Yeah.
So, on Monday, November 16th, the debut episode of their family's new video series, Dinner with the D'Amelios, was released and featured popular YouTuber James Charles as its first guest. But instead of everyone talking about how good the new series is, they were actually criticizing Charli and Dixie for their behavior at the dinner table. So, at the dinner table, a private chef, Erin May, served a giant plate of paella, and Dixie looked disgusted by one of the ingredients, a snail. She tasted it, and she tasted it and then turned around, and then she gagged, and her dad was like, grow up, don't be so dramatic. And James was even like, is she being real? And after she literally left the table, went out to the yard and threw up.
Wait, actual?
Genuine, literally. I will play the video if you're watching the YouTube. She literally left the table, went outside, threw up. Well, we didn't see her throw up, but she threw up, I guess. And then she ended up coming back after, and she ended up explaining that the food was really good. It was just a little salt, some part was a little salty, and that made her throw up or whatever. And it was interesting because when Dixie was outside throwing up, Charli, I'm sorry guys, I can't say it. She was like, "Can we get some dino nuggets?"
Oh my
Which
God.
Is there's a legit chef cooking you dinner, whatever. That's besides the point. So that isn't all that was wrong with the episode. People are also kind of upset over something Charli said. She was saying,
Charli?
Fuck, I can't say it. I think I'm just thinking, I'm trying to say it right, and then I keep saying it wrong. Oh, okay, I'm failing, but it's okay, it's fine. We're gonna keep... So, during the episode, Charli, who is the most followed person on TikTok with 98.8 million fans, complained about not reaching the milestone 100 million yet. And so people have been speaking out after the episode saying the girls are rude, ungrateful, and have bad manners. And they're actually, for once James Charles isn't in the headlines for drama, people were saying, oh, he actually has manners.
God.
And people are just saying, okay, you don't have 100 million YouTube, TikTok followers yet. Okay, cry me a river. James Charles actually spoke out about this on Twitter and said, quote, 10 million followers in 1 year, and y'all expect her to know how to be a perfect role model? Death threats because she's a picky eater and made a joke about a milestone? 30-plus-year-olds dragging someone half their age? Feels familiar. And so, from this point forward, the story gets a little messy. So, Trisha Paytas, probably said her name wrong too, she chimed in on Twitter saying James Charles is making the situation about himself with his tweet. She tweeted, "Definitely always said no one deserves to be canceled. Everyone has room for growth/positive influence except James Charles. Please cancel him. He is a forever victim with a superiority conflict." And, this is just one of the several tweets that she said about James Charles and about this whole situation. James Charles did respond to it. I'm not going to read into it because this feud can take the whole episode.
Totally. It's a lot.
But it kind of doesn't stop there. Dixie just had to chime in. She went on TikTok and danced to an audio of Trisha rapping NWA's Fuck the Police, where she says the N-word. And so Trisha has apologized for this in the past. Dixie and Carly, whatever, have lost 1 million followers, respectively. And I'm done saying her name.
It's just this whole situation is just the feud of problematic on top of problematic. I don't know why Trisha Paytas got involved,
Because
But
she wants
I'm
attention.
just, yeah, it's just like, it's such an attention thing. I don't know. I don't like any of them, which is like, people may be mad, people on YouTube especially, but.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But no, I kind of agree. I just feel like, where are the girls, I'm not going to say their names, where are the girls' parents? Like, you know, like they should have, I feel like so many people watch these videos before they go live. Like, they could have edited it better. Like, it was just kind of like a setup for failure in a way. Like, why wasn't there a red flag saying, like, maybe we should edit this out or, like, this or that, you know? And, like, also, I mean, the video, like, it is kind of rude what they did, but they're handling it terribly. Like, why does Dixie have to chime in again? Like, I mean, I granted, like, whatever, I'm not really mad at Charles or James Charles for, like, going on Twitter and, like, defending them. Like, I mean, I'm sure they're friends, so that was a nice thing for him to do. I just, like, why does Trisha have to comment? I feel like whenever it's about, like, James Charles or, like, David Dobrik and the Vlog Squad, like, she always has to say her two little things just to be like, relevant, which is annoying. But, yeah, I mean, I think Dixie was in the wrong for going and dancing to something old and just, like, not being grown up about it. Like, stop being so immature. And this is how kids these days stay, like, immature and, like, become assholes. Because they just see these kids that they look up to being rude and entitled, and then they think it's okay to be like that.
Oh, fully. I mean, it's like, I remember my little cousins were watching, like, Jake Paul, and I had to be like, don't watch that. Like, this is bad. Like, and I think that's the thing. I think it's like, yes, we can be like, oh, because Charli's 16, I think, or 17, and
or like
Dixie's...
17. She's a minor.
Yeah, and then Dixie, I think, is 18 or 19, and it's like, I get it, you're young, you make mistakes, but it's also like, don't double down on it. Like, learn from this. Like, grow from it. And then it's annoying, too, because I've noticed, like, when I went on Twitter, because this was trending for, like, a full day, and everyone's like, they don't deserve to be canceled, blah, 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 like, cancel these other people. But it's like, no one's canceling them. They lost literally a small percentage of their fan base.
Which
so,
they
like,
will gain back.
Exactly. So, like, I think it's fine. I think people, which, I mean, it's easy to put attention on this because of everything kind of going on right now with coronavirus and even the election stuff. So it's very easy to want to put your attention on something that isn't as serious. But I'm also like, this is enough. But, like, I definitely was reading into it. I was like, oh my God. But it's a lot.
And to your point, like, this happened on Monday. So, like, Monday, Tuesday was really when this thing, like, blew up. And we're still talking about it on, like, Saturday, Sunday. And, like, and the thing is, it's still, like, a top story. Like, on E! News, like, they're, like, a tab. And it's still, like, on people. Like, it's, like, they're just adding more fuel to the fire. And it's like, can we just get over it? We will get over this story right now. So we're going to move on.
Exactly. That's all you will hear from us.
Yep. Mic drop. So our next segment is Entertainment Roundup.
And there's people that are dying.
Entertainment Roundup.
So we don't always talk about the royals, but this story is very interesting and I think timely. So the BBC is investigating a 1995 Panorama interview with Princess Diana that rocked the royal family at the time. Specifically, the BBC is under fire over allegations that Martin Bashir, the interviewer who persuaded Princess Diana to speak to him, lied in order to get the princess to tell her side of the story, and that BBC knew about it. So Diana's brother, Earl Spencer, is one of the whistleblowers demanding the full independent investigation. He tweeted about his decision to seek justice for Diana, and he said, quote, "While I knew that Martin Bashir used fake bank statements and other dishonesty, what I found out only 2 weeks ago is that the BBC also knew. Not only knew about it, but they covered it up." He also shared notes with the Mail that he took from a meeting with Bashir in 1995 that alleges about 32 lies that Bashir told Princess Diana, including that she was being spied on by the royal family and the MI6 had secretly recorded Prince Charles discussing the endgame. And for context, the MI6 is like the Secret Intelligence Service of the United Kingdom. So that's a pretty big thing for someone to tell you, like, they're investigating the end game.
Oh my God.
Like, that's mortifying, I think. And so this interview with the Panorama was huge. So Diana agreed to speak with Bashir to set the record straight because there was so much tabloid speculation at the time about her marriage to Prince Charles, which was basically broken at the time. During the interview, Diana admitted that her marriage to Charles was over, saying, quote, "There were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded." This is a famous quote that she said, and this is a reference to Charles's ongoing affair with the future Duchess Camilla, who is now his wife. And in the interview, Diana also admitted that she had been unfaithful to Charles. Charles previously, about a year before, had said that he had been unfaithful to Diana in their marriage too. So this was her first time admitting that. And many say that the interview was the beginning of the end for Diana and is one of the reasons the Queen allowed for her and Charles to get a divorce, which they did a year later in 1996. The investigation comes at a really interesting time because season 4 of The Crown just came out on November 15th, and one of the main storylines is Diana and Charles's marriage.
Wow. I mean, I feel like I have to start this show now. Like,
Yeah.
The Crown. Wow. I mean...
Yeah, you need to watch The Crown. It's good.
Yeah, I feel like this seems like... I don't follow the royal family too much. Like, when I worked at E, I kind of followed it more just because, like, that was my first time really following it. But I'm like, there's a lot of, like, drama there, it seems like.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. And I mean, this also, according to Diana's best friend, I'm blanking on her name at the moment, but she says that Diana regrets speaking to this person for the interview because it also created a huge rift between her and William, because he was old enough to know what was going on, and apparently people were making fun of him for that and for like calling his mom names. And she died 2 years later in Paris. So it's just, yeah. So I mean, the investigation's ongoing. I think the timing is super relevant. It's also kind of another side note. The tabloids in the UK are like trying to make a rift between William and Harry over this, because William came out with a statement saying that he's been following the investigation in hopes that this like brings out clarity into what happened, and people are saying that like Harry isn't really involved, but that's not true. Harry came out with a statement saying that he's getting like daily stuff about the investigation too, and like he's supporting William through this too. So I mean, I guess this is a developing story. We'll end up seeing what ends up happening, but this is crazy that BBC possibly knew and they just covered it up.
Wow. I know a lot of people, because, like, obviously I kind of know what's happening right now, and people say how harsh the British media is to Meghan Markle. Was that true for Princess Diana as well?
Well, they basically harassed her. I mean, ever since... And there's also a Netflix documentary kind of that just came out about this too, about Diana, and it's like actual like interviews that she was telling someone, and it's Diana explaining her point of view from like when she met Charles to like ultimately her death. And in that Netflix show or movie, she basically says how like when she got engaged to Charles, like they didn't give her like media training, they didn't do anything, like it was just kind of like people were stalking her, and it was like 34 photographers outside of her window at all times, and like she was followed everywhere she went. She never had any privacy, and that's ultimately what killed her. People were following her car in Paris, and it crashed, and like so yeah, they definitely harassed her. And I think, I mean, I wasn't alive at the time, so I can't really compare if like Meghan or Diana have it worse, but I do think the British press is really aggressive, and I do think that they definitely harassed Diana and contributed to part of her unhappiness. I mean, she was open about struggling with bulimia during her marriage with Charles and just a whole bunch of issues, and she like she wanted to cut herself at one point, which she said in the Netflix documentary. So yeah, it's terrible what happened to her. It's so terrible.
It's awful. Well, moving on to news and politics.
News.
Okay, so of course the biggest story right now is COVID-19, since it's truly impacting us all. And this week, we got some good news and new information when it comes to a vaccine. But first, I want to discuss how bad COVID is right now. Last week, 1 in every 378 people in the United States tested positive for COVID.
Wow.
Our daily cases are rising every single day. At the time of this recording, November 20th was the biggest number of positive cases on record, with 198,000 cases. So we're almost hitting 200,000 cases daily. I mean, remember how shocking it was when we literally hit 100,000 cases a day for the first time, like in November.
Like 3 months ago?
No, like this month. Like, it's so crazy. Yeah, like this was literally, I think November 4th was like the first time we hit above 100,000. And now we're about to hit, like, it's, oh my gosh.
Not even a month later. Weeks later.
Yeah, it's like, it doesn't even seem real. It's like that shocking. Like, It's crazy. I mean, what's happening right now is so scary. California now has a curfew, and most counties are in the most restrictive tier as of recent. We're not doing well. But I also think it's important to emphasize what's happening elsewhere in the United States, too. The North Dakota governor announced that nurses who test positive can continue to work because of how full their hospitals are. Wisconsin is now averaging more cases than New York City did at the height of its outbreak. El Paso and other parts of Texas are in crisis and are carting in mobile morgues because of the rising deaths. We will see the death toll hit 440,000 by January unless there's some drastic change of behavior now. And I really don't want to be cynical, but it's like, what else can we be right now? I mean, this is absolutely terrifying. This is a crisis. And if you're not scared right now, you really, really need to be. Thanksgiving is this week. Please be safe. Please be safe, because no one should have to get sick or die because of your actions. Okay, I'm glad I got that out of the way, because now we can go on to a little more hopeful news. So 2 companies announced this week that their vaccines are effective: Pfizer and Moderna. Moderna announced that their vaccine is 94.5% effective, while Pfizer, at first they said 90%, and then I guess they reevaluated, and now it's 95% effective, which honestly is kind of awesome to hear. Yeah. So these companies have submitted a request to the FDA for an emergency use authorization of the vaccines. So we could see people start to be vaccinated by the end of December 2020, so literally like a month away, which is awesome. But there are some unanswered questions. We don't know yet how effective these vaccines will be long-term. And then the 2 companies are still monitoring for long-term effects. But all signs point to this being super promising in our fight towards ending COVID. So, what's next? The vaccines will first be allocated to frontline workers and those who are high risk. The companies are expecting to produce enough for 35 million people by the end of 2020, and then another 2.3 billion doses combined for both companies in 2021. Wow. As the vaccine becomes more readily available, the majority of Americans need to get it in order for us to get rid of COVID, which honestly is a little scary to me because only half the population thinks the flu shot, for example, is worth getting.
Yeah,
but I'll leave us on a... Yeah. So this is definitely something, I mean, it's kind of like that change in behavior thing that said about what numbers we could possibly see in our death toll and like new daily cases. We really need to hopefully a new administration will kind of be encouraging of this, and hopefully a lot of people will be getting these vaccines. But I will leave us on a promising quote from Dr. Fauci. He was asked by the New York Times when things will feel more normal. And this is what he said. Quote, "I think we're going to have some degree of public health measures together with the vaccine for a considerable period of time. But we'll start approaching normal if the overwhelming majority of people take the vaccine as we get into the 3rd or 4th quarter of 2021. So honestly, for a while, I was a little like, when is this going to end? And now I truly, as someone who's kind of been like following this nonstop since March, I feel hopeful for the first time.
I agree with you. I thought this was going to be a thing until 2022. And this would be a thing if Trump was still president.
Oh, for sure. I thought, honestly, if Trump was still president, I thought this would be a thing till 2024. Genuinely.
I mean, so many questions, so many things to say. So, like, my first thing is cases have gone up so much. I think part of it is because, I mean, we're not scientists or like health officials or experts.
Oh yeah, let's be clear.
Yeah, let's be very clear. But I think my opinion is that because of the election, people were going out. I also think people were protesting. So that sparked a lot more cases. But also, like, what do you think it's in part because summer was here and like people just like stopped caring? Like, you know, like for a while it was really bad and then it kind of like dropped a little bit. So then people were like, oh yeah, everything's fine and it's like summer, let's go on a boat, let's go do this. And then like they just got used to it. And now that like the election kind of took over coverage and maybe like coronavirus wasn't the first, like the headline every single time. And so people kind of put it in the back burner and continue to go out and just not care. Like, or what do you think contributed to like such a rise?
I think, and again, we're no scientists or doctors, but I do think the biggest things were probably fatigue, which we've been seeing for a few months, just fatigue with the virus, not wanting to stay in, wanting to go out. I think a lot of states, because we're seeing so much rise in these rural areas in these Midwest states. And I think it took a while for it to really kind of infiltrate those areas. And now that it's spreading so rapidly because it's so hard to get rid of now because they may not necessarily have mask mandates and they may not enforce it, and kind of the culture there is different. And then another huge thing, I think, because it's getting so cold in different areas, that people are probably gathering indoors more versus being outside. I would say those are kind of the biggest things. Because, I mean, like in San Diego and in LA, we're used to it's still kind of warm, maybe a little chilly. But, like, I mean, in other places, it's snowing, which I'm like, ew. I don't know what that's like. But I'm just like, so other people kind of have to deal with that. So maybe outdoor seating isn't an option if it was even kind of being enforced in general before. So I think it has a lot to do with that. But I think I don't know, it's so scary. It's scary because, like, even in San Diego and even in LA, like, cases are rising. So it's not to say that it's only in these Midwest areas, but I think it's very, like, it's scary in these Midwest areas right now. I mean, in like North Dakota and South Dakota, they have like the highest case rate per 100,000 people, and it's like in the 200s, I think. So it's
and when you
really
compare
scary.
their population to how many cases, it's like, yikes, there's a lot. Like, even though their numbers are not as staggering as San Diego or in LA, we have more people. So like, if they have like, I don't know, I'm just making up a number, like 100,000 cases, but there's 300,000 people in the state, that's like insane. And that's just me making up a number. But
no, and it's so true. And I think there's one point I had said about how Wyoming right now is seeing, or was it Wyoming? No, I'm scared it's wrong. It was Wisconsin. I get the W states mixed up. Wisconsin is now averaging more cases than New York City did at the height of its outbreak. And literally people were leaving New York City. People were in mobile morgues. People were literally, the streets were like, all people could hear all the time is sirens going on. And it was like a scary apocalyptic thing. And that's the same number of cases in Wisconsin right now. Like, not per the population, like literally the same exact number. So it's just like, it's so scary right now.
Yeah. It's also like, I mean, last thing I guess I'll say about this is too, like, I feel like no matter what Biden does when he goes into office and whatever they do, like that administration does, like, people are going to be mad at them. No matter, and it's also like not whatever he does. I think it's a matter of anyone. Like, if Governor Newsom does something, people are going to get mad because people have just gotten so used to their way of life, and a lot of people kind of return to their normal way of life. And I feel like, my personal opinion, besides getting vaccinated, is like, you have to put really strict rules and strict curfews in order for people to really stay home. And they're not going to want that. Like, if Biden comes in January 20th and is like, all right, everybody, lock down from this time to this time, people are going to protest, they're going to be pissed. So it's kind of like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, right?
I know. It sucks kind of what, I mean, obviously we all have a right to criticize and protest our government, but it sucks when you can see that the best, like the best interest really is at heart sometimes, like with a national mask mandate. And I just hope if there is a lockdown, I hope it's somehow enforced, and I hope they pay people to stay home, because
like,
I mean this is devastating right now to so many people. So I really hope, and I don't know. I feel like right now I was looking at the vaccine as kind of the golden ticket, but that's not true. Like, we need the vaccine along with other things, but hopefully.
And you're right about the economic relief package or something, because if we go back in lockdown, the economy's going to tank again. So they need to have something in place so that people don't lose their jobs, they don't lose their homes, they don't lose healthcare, so many things. I mean, we can talk a lot longer for this, but at least there is a silver lining, and I feel like there is finally light at the end of the tunnel. Like, I genuinely thought we would spend all of 2021 like how we are now with COVID. And so the fact that there's hope that Q3 or Q4, like, things are going to start looking up, as long as people continue to take this really seriously, is I think something we should all consider, because if we want our lives to go back to normal, quote, things will never go back to normal, but more relatively normal, people have to take this seriously and everyone has to do their part. So just please be safe, stay home, be cautious and caring to others, and don't be selfish, wear a mask.
Definitely, fully agree. And I kind of want to reiterate too, like, I know Thanksgiving is coming up, but please, please, please be as safe as you possibly can be. Because, I mean, losing someone isn't worth it.
No, it's not worth it at all. So now on to our good news.
Yeah, now after that, let's go to the light of our weeks. So we had some people submit good news. But first, Emily, what's your good news of the week?
My good news of the week is that my best friend's dog went to the hospital because he is just getting older and he's getting sick, and he just got released. And so I'm super happy that he's back home with her, and I love the little dog. Well, he's a big dog, but I love him.
Yay, that's exciting.
What's your good
news? My good news of the week is, so I don't know if I've mentioned it on this show, but I broke my foot, I think almost 2 months ago now. Maybe
you did mention it.
Yeah, so yeah, with the Crocs, all bad, not a great situation. But I'm finally in like normal shoes. I don't have to wear the boot. It still hurts, but I'm like, as long as I'm wearing like sneakers or like running shoes, it's like secure, so it's good. But yeah, so I've been doing like strength working out, so I've been doing some squats. I'm sore for the first time in months, so it feels good.
Yay! Oh my god, that's so exciting. That's great news.
I know. And going on to that, we have a good news story from Jack. He said, worked out with my girlfriend for the first time since she broke her foot.
And that's Alex.
Yes.
Okay, let me get my phone really quick.
Oh, yes.
So do you want to read the next one while I...
Yeah, I'll read the next one. So then Amanda said, a new job interview, which, awesome. That's amazing. Especially at a time right now. That's really exciting.
Yeah, I love that. And Kristen Rivas said she dedicated a whole day to her mental health and she feels great. And we love that. Love that for you, Kristen.
Yes. Do you want to read the last one?
Yeah, so Megan Healy said she got to see her grandma during a socially distant visit. And that makes me very happy and it warms my heart. So I'm glad you got to see your grandma and you were being responsible.
I love that. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I just want to kind of say one more thing because that's such a great point. Like, you can see people just be safe about it. Like, distance, masks, that's a great option. I know it's not the same as being able to hug a relative or be able to hug a friend you haven't seen in a long time, but it's nice to distance with people too.
Exactly. And that does it for us this week. Don't forget to follow us on social. You can go to our YouTube page at What a Week with Alex and Emily to find us and look at all these amazing videos. Or you can also go to our TikTok, What a Week Show _.
Yes, and then on Twitter, we are also at What a Week Show _. And then on Instagram, we are What a Week Show.
Woohoo! Have a great week, everybody. Wear a mask. We love you.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.